I'm about to go up with David, who is a student pilot working on his private pilot, and we have some skills to polish off before he goes on his solo. Let's get after it. Hello aviators, my name is Chris Palmer from Angle of Attack. I run a flight school in Homer, Alaska. And today I'm going to be going up with a student of mine named David. He is working on his private pilot license. He's getting fairly close to his first solo. And we have a handful of things that we need to go through before it's solo time. Things like aborted takeoffs, so we want to go over stalls again, and we want to perfect pattern work even more. So let's jump in the cockpit and have a gander. Ready? I was born ready.
So just move really slow near this hangar. So if this catches a bit of ice, then we have a problem. Okay, clear right, clear left.
Home radio 2-3 uniform on the roll, runway 4 Bravo north.
Yeah. So you don't want to say Homer traffic.
Uniform, what's your direction of flight?
Southbound to McEwen Flats.
Southbound to McEwen Flats.
So I wouldn't say on the roll until I was like lined up with the runway. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When we're actually rolling. Alright, so clear your final. Alright, airspeed's good. Don't force it up too much. Yep, just be patient with it.
Ooh.
Yeah, you tried to force it up a little too soon.
Good.
And really it was just too high of an angle of attack. I like that you were like trying to get it up, but just let it come off.
That felt bad.
Yeah, it wasn't your best. Really, and that's actually a good segue to our stalls out there, because your angle of attack was simply too high. Had you kept your angle of attack lower, then we would have been just fine. Like, yeah, you would have been a little slow, but we wouldn't have settled back down like that.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea, is if you're out here doing this by yourself, you know that you need to reduce that angle of attack. So we'll drive that message home when we get out here and do stalls first thing.
So as you can see there, today we're going to get out of the pattern and re-emphasize the angle of attack, stalls, stall recovery, go-arounds, and so on. Because David is getting so close to solo, I really want this to be drilled home for him at this point. Plus, it'll only help him in finally getting those landings down. I do my stalls in a series. The configuration for all the slow flight and stall maneuvers start with the same power setting, which in this case in my airplane is 1600. And then carb heat. So then I maintain altitude and I slow down. And first we're going to do a power on takeoff and departure stall.
So 16 first, you said?
Yep, 16 first, get it back, get it slow, because we're still going 85. 16, carb heat. Carb heat. All the way, okay, retract those flaps. Woo. Mind if I demonstrate this one first?
Yeah.
So you can remember? Okay. Thank you. Getting it all set up nice. So getting nice and slow. We're emulating a takeoff. So this is a power on takeoff departure stall. So we're emulating that our angle of attack is too high with a bunch of power, right? So I like to start at the takeoff speed. So then I go full power here and I stay coordinated. I set my pitch, and I'm constantly increasing rudder pressure throughout this. There we go. Yep.
What was that?
That was the stall. A little different than last time, huh?
Climbing stall, wow.
Yep. I mean, you can do it. So, what we're seeing there is that we have all the available power, right? In fact, I can even do more power. But you have to maintain coordination. Have a lot of right rudder pressure. Here it comes. And all I do is reduce my angle of attack. That's it. Here it comes. There it is. I push the nose forward.
Woo.
Now, if you're not coordinated, you could dip a wing, but still get that nose forward and you're done. All right? And then you can climb out of it and recover from the stall. So that's kind of what you were experiencing on that takeoff. Your angle of attack was too high. We just got to get it down and get back to flying. So
Okay.
this is what we always do right here. So let me get it slowed back down for you. To that takeoff speed. Okay, your flight controls.
Okay. And we're going to slow it down to 60 and then power out.
Yep. Remember, nose forward.
Okay. And then we're going to power up and pull back hard.
Not hard.
Okay.
Nothing's ever hard. Okay, now push it in, push the power in, and pull the nose up. We've kind of set the angle of attack and just leave it there. So keep it constant and increase your right rudder pressure. More. You're gonna need more as we go throughout. Here it comes. Here it comes. A little less rudder pressure. See, now our angle of attack isn't high enough, so we'll just sit here all day,
Okay.
believe it or not.
Just blasting.
So just get it an inch or two higher, and you're gonna feel it. A little bit more back pressure.
It's going to be
There it
cool.
is. Good. There you go. Now you just release the pressure. Okay,
Okay.
you're here. Just try it again. You're already here. Just release the pressure. Feel that rudder. See how our nose is sliding? There it is. Yep. Push forward. Push forward. There you go. You're ready. Okay, aileron doesn't do anything during this stall.
Really?
It's just rudder.
Okay.
So let's try it one more time. So constant angle of attack, right?
Yeah.
Can you feel the plane sliding out of
Yeah.
your peripheral vision?
It doesn't
Keep it
like
straight.
it.
Keep it straight. That's what we're trying to do. Yep,
All
a
right,
little less.
all right.
There you go. Now, here it comes. Here comes the buffet. And then just reduce your angle of attack. Just release that pressure. And okay.
Is that what you wanted?
We weren't quite there. It didn't break. So right about there. And now, make sure you don't slide a little bit more. Keep it there. You're gonna have to keep. There you go. See how you just reduced the pressure?
Yep.
That's it. We're flying again. So now you get it back up to 80. That's your recovery, right? And we're flying back out. Any questions? Probably a lot.
No, that's cool.
Okay, you understand it? So
Let me process it there for a minute.
yeah, so we talk about on takeoff, right? Let's just settle down for a second. We talk about on takeoff. Man, it's beautiful back here. How we get that, like the top of the cowling on the horizon, right? I always say that. Your
Yeah.
climb attitude. So if our nose is that high, and you're feeling those things and hearing those things, something's wrong, right?
Yeah.
So get the nose down.
Yeah.
Another thing, there's this famous video that unfortunately is me, of me almost hitting these trees. That's just a little scary. Well, oh boy. Wow. Okay, things we are not doing again. So my point there is that never let the wing stop flying. If you have to fly through trees, do it. You know, there's plenty of energy in this plane to find, but we can't go beyond that critical angle of attack. If you release that pressure, I know it's counterintuitive, but release that pressure, keep the airplane flying. All right, let's do a turn back this direction. So that was nice to start that way, because now we can do a power off stall.
David and I have a quick discussion on why a power off approach to landing stall may be easier than a power on stall. Basically, we aren't getting the left turning tendencies we were getting with a low airspeed, high power situation. Things are just a bit more mellow, but we still need to learn how to recover from this stall.
So let's go ahead and get to that regime again of 1600 RPM, carb heat in. This is how we start it. All right, good job adding that back pressure. Absolutely, first notch of flaps. We will have flaps on this. Probably do about flaps 20. Okay, there we go.
Okay, 80. Coming down to 70.
And now what you're gonna do is now that we're here and you set everything up, reduce your power back, and we're gonna truly do the power off component of this. So we're just pretending that we're approaching, right? So let it get into a nice approach here. We'll just let it descend. Okay, you know, we're descending down on the base leg. And then I want you to turn final here. Okay, we're turning final. We're looking for the runway. And we kind of stop paying attention, and we start bringing that nose back to the horizon. And we start getting extra slow. Maybe we roll out on final now. Okay, we just hold that nose on the horizon, which we shouldn't do, and we're getting a lot slower than we should, right? You know that just by glancing at the airspeed. We hear that stall warning indication, and you got to hold more pressure to actually make it stall. Here comes the buffet. There it is. Now with this stall, you can just release the pressure and let the wing fly again, but we actually do want to fly a recovery, which means we need power, right, if we want to get out of that. So go ahead and get it into the stall again. Feel what that feels like. More pressure. Another inch or two higher.
Come on!
Yep, you almost have to bring it all the way back. There we go. Okay, now fly the wing again. Push the nose down. There you go. We're recovered. Power all the way. All the way, all the way. Power up, pitch up, clean up. Same thing, right? One notch of flaps. There you go. Maintain coordination. Maintain your heading. There you go. And fly out of it like you would on a regular takeoff. Get your nose down. Are you just having tons of pressure here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had the trim set to a...
And you're flying and you're climbing, so I'm like, even though you're a little slow, I'm happy with it. Like, you are flying out of this. So there's two things I'm wanting to accomplish today. First is you being able to recognize that stall coming and not doing it in the first place, right?
Yep.
But also understanding how to recover from it. That is the most important part. I couldn't care less if you're really good at getting it into a stall quick. I want to know that you can recognize it and recover from it.
Okay.
Those are the two separate things.
A new student pilot only has so many hours in which to learn stick and rudder skills. Believe it or not, the 5 senses are a huge part of that hand-in-glove type of flying. We aren't being driven by the airplane. Rather, we should be one with it, relying on all of our senses to get the big picture. And so I'm reminding David here of some cues to listen for that I had shown him earlier on in training, but bringing it up again to him.
And now you're going to bring the nose to the horizon. I want you to pull your ear cuff off just a little bit and listen. Listen to the other indicators of a stall. Hear that whistle building?
Yep.
There it is. Big old whistle. Okay, you can recover. Power up, pitch up, clean up. That was a good recovery. Nice and smooth. Get it flying again. And you do have extra power there. So I just want to show you those other indications as well. Because really there's a lot of things that should build for you to tell you like, something doesn't feel right. I'm not hearing the air rush past the windscreen like I usually do. I hear that whistle sound. What if the stall warning horn is stuck out there or something?
Hey y'all, a real quick message here. If you're enjoying this video and doing flight training now or in the near future, check out our online ground school. Pass the written test, prepare for flight training, and become a safe aviator. And you get to support this channel at the same time. Join today at angleofattack.com. Alright, back to the video. Now we're going to bring everything back to the pattern again and see how these stall exercises helped with David's landings.
Alright, get me set up. You know the altitudes, you know the distance. We're getting a little tight here.
Yep.
Slow her up before you do flaps. Slow her up. Wait. Get her in the white. That's a structural limitation.
True.
There we go. And now you know your numbers. You know you've got to be 1950, carb heat, 1 notch of flaps. Right? And that's going to give you your 80. If you get behind it, you're going to get behind it too much. So just push it right in and it'll happen. And retrim. The thing I like about observing power settings is kind of like set it and forget it. You know that if you go to that power setting, everything will work out.
Yep.
You don't have to keep watching instruments. Just like, bam, done. Alright, so carb heat, gas, undercarriage mixture, prop seatbelt switches. All good?
Yep.
Alright. A little tight on the runway. Let's just go with it. Good job keeping your eyes outside. Kudos to you.
Homer traffic, 23 uniform, turning right base, runway 4.
Good. Good power reduction. Good decision on the flaps. I'd probably even go less power since we're high and tight, or tight. Clear your final. Clear your final. Look underneath us.
Homer runway, 23 uniform, turning base, or turning final, runway 4.
You said Homer runway. I like it though. I like that you're getting in there and just making the mistakes because it's only going to take a couple times and then you're done, you know?
Hey man, who's gonna hear my mistakes? Traffic? I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Good. There's no ego in this. Alright.
Gotta make some mistakes. Gotta break some eggs, you know?
Keep it at 20. Let's try to just land with 20 because that's might be a little easier. Alright, get me nice and stable. Alright, get me on that center line. A little bit more power. Just a smidge. There you go. Keep this attitude coming down. Draw that power back. Align. Oh, too hard, too hard, too hard, too hard. Oh. Remember, you got to get into that round out,
Yep.
flare, pull back the power.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, wait. Get a stop. Let's clean up. Let's reset. Here we go. Here we go. Woo! Alright. Get everything fixed.
It seems like with David, the first one is always the mistake pattern where he's knocking off the rust kind of all at once. And then he completely rocks it from there, really getting into the improvements needed to make it a powerful flight lesson.
I like that your head is on a swivel today. It's something I mentioned earlier on in your training, but you're looking everywhere, and that's exactly what you need to do.
Homer traffic, 23 uniform, turning right downwind, runway 4.
Alright, our altitude's creeping down a little bit. I like our distance this time a little better. Thinking about your next move.
Okay. Homer traffic, 23 uniform, turning right base, runway 4.
A little less power.
Oh. And 20.
A little less power. We're cruising. Clear the final.
Homer traffic, 23 uniform, turning final, runway 4. Really high.
Alright, get back on center line over here. Looking nice, looking stable. Right there, just keep that coming down, just like that. Relax. Okay. Looking down the runway, pulling the power, and pulling back. Pull. There you go. A little bit more. Perfect. Alright. Also, I feel like you're stepping on a little bit of rudder for some reason.
Yeah.
On final. Keep it really smooth. Only use it if you need it.
Now we'll talk about an aborted takeoff. If for whatever reason David needs to do this when he does his solo, I want him to have some experience having already done it.
Alright, so we're going to do an aborted takeoff. I just want to tell you ahead of time, okay? So the first one we're going to do, we'll do it this time. We're going to do aborting the takeoff before we rotate, okay?
Okay.
So I'll just say abort, and what you're going to do is pull the power back first. You don't need to slam on the brakes. All we're doing is we've got plenty of runway. All we're doing is we're going to bring it back and slow it down, okay? So power is the main thing. And then once we get it under control on center line, we'll start to add just a little bit of brakes here and there. Get her slowed down. Kind of just thinking about it, right?
Okay.
And then aerodynamic braking. If you put this big paddle in the wind back there, if you're slow enough, that can make a big difference. Obviously, you wouldn't want to wrench on this right away. But let's try this out, okay?
Okay. Alright, you want me to do this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm fine you doing this.
Okay, so we're gonna...
I'll just call abort. And then you pull the power back to idle and let the airplane slow down naturally at first, and then get on the brakes just a little bit. You don't need to get on a lot.
Okay, are we gonna peel off?
Nope. We're gonna do it before we take off this time. Next time we'll do it after.
Okay. All right, and forward traffic 23 uniform on the roll.
And let it roll. Make sure your feet aren't on the brakes. Okay, so we're cruising down the runway. And we hear a big old pop. Okay, power idle. There you go. Maintain center line. Now get on the brakes just a little bit. There you go. And then you can do that aerodynamic braking. You see how much that helps? There you go.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Yep, it's actually, this is like the best. And you save your brakes that way.
Cool.
All right, let's do it again. Or let's take off.
Forward traffic 23 uniform on the roll, taking off. Runway 4.
Airspeed alive. Engine is green. On that center line, peeling off just a little bit. She's flying. And we're following center line. And we're doing right rudder. And we're aiming for the horizon. Beautiful.
Quick question, what is the best way you learn with an instructor? What's their demeanor like? What's the interaction between you and your instructor? Think about that. Maybe even if you haven't started flying yet, what was your favorite teacher like in school? I'd love to hear your answer in the comments.
All right, the name of the game this time is going to be to get everything nice and stable on final. Nice, smooth, perfect power setting. Follow that all the way down.
Forward traffic 23 uniform turning right. Base, runway 4.
Yeah, a little more power, or a little less power. A little more power reduction. The weird way of saying it. See how high it was, like, kept us high because we didn't reduce enough?
Over traffic 23 uniform turning right. Final. Runway 4. No such thing as a right final.
I know you know that, that's why I didn't say anything. Keep this bank in so that we roll out on center line. Just keep the bank. There you go. You have this tendency to always be right, just to the left of the center line, like just like 25 feet.
Yeah.
Alright, we're riding this down. We're still slowing down, by the way. We want to be at about 70. So try not to wobble this too much. You don't need to do much with the controls. You definitely don't need to add any rudder. So we're just going to kind of keep this coming down. Okay. And now you transition your eyes down the runway. Pull that power back. There you go. A little less. A little bit more.
172 in the pattern.
That was great.
Cool.
All right, pull that power back. Let's get reset.
What happens if you've already lifted off and need to abort your takeoff? I show David here exactly what he would need to do.
This aborted takeoff we're doing now will be after we rotate, okay? And you're going to settle back down. You're basically just going to fly it back down into the flare and settle it down again, okay?
After we rotate?
After we rotate, after we take off, we're going to abort the power, okay?
Rotate up.
And then you're going to bring the nose down into ground effect, okay?
Okay, so we're gonna...
We are going to take off.
Okay.
Then we'll abort probably like 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, something like that, and then you'll bring it back down.
Okay.
Just fly it on down.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Forward traffic 23 uniform on the roll.
Runway 4.
Runway 4.
There you go. Okay, lay it on. Okay, it's just everything's normal. Everything's normal. Okay, bring it off. Okay. Alright, abort. Okay, you got plenty of energy, just fly it on. Fly it on, a little more pressure. Oh, that's your smoothest landing ever.
Traffic smoke bay 025.
Okay, and we're going pretty fast, so we gotta be careful to like slow it down, right? You can go though, let's go. one time we run out of runway. Look at this. We've never been this low before. So you see how like immediate it is. You're like you're on the ground in like 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, it just pitches right down.
Yep. And if that abort was on purpose, like if you had the option of pulling the power back a little bit smoother, that's better, right?
Yeah.
So that your attitude and everything doesn't change so fast. So think of that. But if like you immediately need to abort, that's what it would look and feel like.
Okay.
And we don't have the use of flaps too, so really we actually kind of have to land fast like that in order to keep it from stalling.
Yeah.
Cool, that was good.
Yeah.
They're getting smoother. Let's get those approaches smoother. This time, when we do that base turn, I want you to look and do 1400 RPM.
Okay.
And let's see how that goes for slowing down in that turn.
Okay.
Armor traffic, 23 uniform turning right, base, runway 4.
Okay, focus on that power setting. Keep that nose up and that power setting. Keep pulling it back. It's gonna feel like it's almost idle. Okay, right there. Look at this. Feels pretty nice.
Feels about right.
Over traffic, 23 uniform turning base, or turning final, runway 4.
Yeah, you see how low they are? Like you can barely see them now.
Oh, yeah.
Base Jamaica Hotel is 6 foot rock with Juliet. Copy, close credit.
Okay, keep that turn right at this bank. Don't roll out. Keep it at this bank. So you come right on final, right on center line. That's a little bit better. See, I kind of like doing that. If I'm gonna do anything wrong, I'd like to undershoot it just slightly, because then I can just scoot into it. All right, this is feeling pretty good. I might have you just smoothly roll in power right about now. Yep. So we get that descent a little more shallow and kind of right at that airspeed, okay? So now you're thinking about looking down the runway, pulling that power and pulling back. Pull, a little bit more, just slightly more. Oh my gosh! What was...
Pretty nice.
Yes! Alright, man, clean her up. No more aborts or anything. It's
Okay.
enough.
Now, I recognize that I talk way too much sometimes. I definitely want to give my client the most bang for their buck, and so I'm trying to add tips here and there, but the student pilot really does need to fly on their own eventually, and I am getting to that point where I really need to start shutting up. And in this case, I want to just see where things are after having talked a lot during this lesson. I want to see where he's at, if he can do it all on his own without any cues. When David goes solo, he's not going to have me right next to him, so it's really important that I just kind of let things play out and see where we're at.
We're a little tighter this time, just so you know. That's the last thing I'm going to say.
Okay.
If you screw it up, it's on you.
Okay. Oh, I feel the pressure now.
Well, I mean, you know what to do. Just
Yeah.
do what you know to do.
Over traffic, 23 uniform turning right, base, runway 4. Over traffic, 23 uniform turning right, or turning final, runway 4.
Little high.
Okay? Working. Working on it. Okay, let's stop. Let's taxi back. Good one, man. Good.
Thanks.
I like that you recognize it was high, just like a stall. You let off the pressure, you came back down, you corrected. Fantastic. Exactly as planned, I would say. Good all-around lesson.
All right, that was an awesome flight with David. We're working on those things that he needs before his solo. So those particular things like stalls again and aborted takeoffs, and of course dialing in landings a little bit better. So I hope you guys enjoyed that lesson. A little bit of a variety there of different things to polish off all the skills he may need to have, hopefully doesn't need to have during his solo, but hopefully that's really helpful for you guys. So like this if you guys liked it, subscribe if you want to stick around, turn on that notification bell if you don't want to miss a thing. Really appreciate you guys being here and hope you're doing well and finding some flying in your present and future. Until next time, throttle on.